The film Caddo Lake has a concept that's quite complex, but we will try to explain it in simple and clear words so the story is easy to understand. To understand the complex story of this film, we first need to know a few important details. The film unfolds across two different time periods, 2003 and 2022. These timelines are separate, but the events happen in the same location. Timeline 1. In 2003, we follow Paris, a young boy, and C, a young girl. They share a close relationship that gradually reveals its secrets as the story moves forward. Most of this timeline focuses on these two characters. Timeline 2. The second timeline is set in 2022 and centers on Ellie, a teenage girl, her mother Celeste, and Anna, Ellie's stepsister. Celeste explains that Ellie's biological father left years ago, so she later married Daniel, a divorced man with a daughter from his first marriage, Anna. Much of this part of the film follows Ellie, Celeste, and Anna as their lives intersect. Although the story jumps between two eras, both timelines take place in the same small town near Caddo Lake, a real lake on the Texas-Louisiana border. Spanning about 25,000 acres, this mysterious, sprawling lake provides the eerie backdrop that ties every character and event together. The characters in this story all live near Caddo Lake, and this lake holds a strange mystery. At certain spots around the lake, time doors occasionally open, almost like a glitch in the universe. These doors don't appear randomly. They show up only when the water level drops slightly. These doors don't lead to another universe. Instead, they shift a person forward or backward in time, and nothing beyond that. Almost no one knows about this phenomenon, and the characters who experience it do so completely by accident. No one can choose when or where it happens. In the 2003 timeline, Paris suffered a deep trauma. He lost his mother in a car accident when he was with her. She had a seizure while driving, and their car plunged into the lake. Paris tried but couldn't save her, and ever since, he's blamed himself. Now grown, Paris works at the lake for a dam company. His father is still alive, but is slowly falling ill. By 2022, Ellie feels unhappy with her life. She often argues with her mother Celeste, partly because Ellie's biological father abandoned them years ago. Celeste seems to take out her frustration on Ellie, as if blaming her for his absence. Ellie also doesn't feel truly accepted by her stepfather, Daniel's family, though she shares a close bond with her kind stepsister, Anna. Ellie's plan is to finish high school and leave town. Ellie owns a small boat and often spends time exploring the lake. In fact, nearly everyone living around Caddo Lake has a boat, making the water an everyday part of life. Now that you know these key details, we can move directly into the main story. The film opens with the tragic car accident from Paris's past. He was in the car with his mother when she suddenly suffered a seizure while crossing a bridge. The vehicle plunged into the lake. Paris somehow managed to save himself, but he failed to save his mother. Several years passed after the accident, but Paris could never forget it. He often wondered why his mother had a seizure exactly while they were crossing the bridge. He would go through her medical records, thinking maybe her treatment hadn't been correct or that she might have had another illness, but the question always stayed with him. Paris's father also mourns his wife, but tries to move on. After work one day, he invites Paris to a memorial service, but Paris decides not to go. Paris once had a close friend named C, but after his mother's death, he stopped seeing her. C lives in Houston, yet she returns for the memorial and eventually meets Paris. They spend time together, sharing quiet conversations. C still cares deeply for him and hopes to help him move forward, but Paris remains emotionally stuck. That night, Paris hears mysterious sounds coming from the lake, and even his dog starts barking, but he dismisses it. The next day, while repairing pipes for the dam company, he notices the water level is unusually low. Venturing farther out in his boat, Paris suddenly senses something odd. He has unknowingly stepped through one of the time doors. Fortunately, the shift is minor. He doesn't travel far and remains in the same time period, unaware of how close he came to a deeper passage. When Paris returns from the lake, his work partner mentions that something is jammed in the engine. While clearing the debris, Paris makes a startling discovery: his mother's locket. Finding a locket in the lake isn't unusual by itself, but this one is different. Paris already has his mother's locket at home. The idea that an identical locket turned up in the very place where his mother died leaves him deeply unsettled. To confirm what he saw, Paris goes to his father's house and searches through his mother's old belongings. Sure enough, the original locket is still there. There's no doubt. Both lockets are exactly the same. Paris shares this strange discovery with his girlfriend, C. At first, she believes him, and he even takes her to the same area of the lake where he sensed something unusual. But the time door has shifted location, so they can't find anything out of the ordinary this time. The two eventually return home, puzzled. Shift to 2022. Paris's story pauses here as the film moves to the second timeline in 2022, which is tightly connected to the first. We meet Ellie, who takes her boat to pick up her sister Anna from school. During the ride, Anna shows Ellie a locket saying it belonged to Ellie's mother. This locket is identical to the one Paris found back in 2003, linking the two timelines in a mysterious way. Soon after Ellie returns home, she hears news of a disturbing discovery. A dead alligator has washed up on the lake's shore. What shocks everyone is that the alligator's body is cleanly sliced in half. The truth, unknown to the townspeople, is that when the time doors shift locations, anything caught in their path is cut straight through, and that's exactly what happened to this alligator. Ellie quietly pushes the animal's remains back into the water. Back home, Ellie finds that Daniel's entire family has gathered. She gets into another heated argument with her mother Celeste, because Ellie needs her signature on an important document and also requires her biological father's death certificate. Celeste refuses and grows angry, and the fight escalates. Frustrated, Ellie leaves the house and spends the night at a friend's place. The next day, she wakes to multiple missed calls from her mother. When she returns, she learns that her younger sister Anna has disappeared. A month earlier, Anna had taken a boat and followed Ellie onto the lake, so everyone fears the worst. The boat Ellie had arrived in was gone, as if someone had taken it, maybe even stolen it, but it felt very strange. Search efforts begin immediately. Family, neighbors, and the police all look for Anna, but there is no trace of her. Unbeknownst to them, Anna has accidentally crossed into another point in time. Celeste angrily blames Ellie, insisting it's her fault for leading Anna onto the water. For 2 days, the search continues with no results. Feeling hopeless, Ellie takes her boat out on the lake late at night. She travels far from shore, remembering that before Anna vanished, someone claimed to have seen wolves near the lake, a sighting that should have been impossible. That night, Ellie herself sees wolves, which shocks her even more. We, the audience, understand the truth. These wolves have crossed over from the past through the shifting time doors, appearing in Ellie's present. That night, Ellie unknowingly passes through a time portal. She only feels something strange, but nothing seems obvious at first. When she reaches home the next morning, she realizes something is off. She has traveled one day into the past, to the very day Anna disappeared. Because Ellie had already experienced this before, she wasn't completely shocked. Then her attention shifted outside, where she saw another version of herself, the one who actually belonged to that time, walking toward the house. Startled, she hides until her past self goes inside, then quietly takes her boat and leaves. This reveals the mystery of the missing boat. When it seemed someone had stolen Ellie's boat earlier, it was actually Ellie herself, traveling through time. Now convinced that something unusual is happening near a specific part of the lake, Ellie heads back there and once again slips through a time door. This time landing 1 month earlier, on the exact day Anna first followed her onto the water. Overjoyed to find Anna alive and well, Ellie approaches, hoping to bring her home. But then she notices a detail. This Anna is slightly different. In the present, Anna had a missing tooth, but this version does not. Ellie realizes she's truly a month in the past. She takes Anna home, where Celeste and Daniel scold her for taking the girl out on the lake. Before leaving, Ellie warns her stepfather, "No matter what happens, don't let Anna go to the lake alone." Now, the question is, if this isn't the same Anna who disappeared, then where did the real Anna go? To find out, we shift to Paris's timeline when he returns to the lake. This time, when Paris passes through a time portal, he arrives in 1952, a period before the lake even existed, back when the dam was still under construction. Paris doesn't realize at first that he's in the past. As he moves forward, he discovers a wounded Anna. He picks her up and carries her toward the road, where he sees with his own eyes that this is not his present time. Soon, some dam workers arrive and meet him there. Paris carries the injured Anna to a group of dam workers, asking them to take her to a hospital. When he asks what year it is, one man replies, 1952. The answer stuns Paris. The workers grow suspicious, wondering what he might have done to the child. But before they can question him further, Paris quickly slips away. He examines the dam construction records and his mother's medical files, and finally pieces it together. Whenever the water level drops, a time door opens, allowing travel to another point in time. Realizing this, Paris feels a surge of hope. Maybe he can go back and save his mother. Paris races toward the lake again, determined to use the time portal once more. At the same time, in the 2022 timeline, Ellie also understands how the portals work and decides to follow. Paris emerges in 2022, the period when Anna is already missing. Meanwhile, Ellie travels back and arrives in Paris's era, decades earlier. While searching for Anna in town, Ellie notices a car parked outside a shopping mall and spots a necklace inside, the very same necklace that belonged to her mother and that Anna once carried. As Ellie reaches for it, she is suddenly stopped by C, who is, in fact, Celeste, Ellie's mother, as a young woman. At first, Ellie doesn't recognize her. Celeste, not knowing Ellie's true identity, demands to know where she got the necklace. This moment takes place just after Paris's own time journey, back when he had been close to Celeste. By now, Celeste has a young daughter, which means the little girl Ellie sees is her own childhood self. Celeste suspects that Paris has been unfaithful with this strange young woman. So as she leaves, she tells Ellie, "Tell him to come back. I miss him so much." Let's clear up any confusion. Paris lived in his own time until 2003 and was in a relationship with C. After he time traveled through the lake, Paris never returned to his original timeline. Because of his disappearance, C believed he had abandoned her. After Paris vanished, C gave birth to a baby girl, Ellie. Since Paris could never make it back to his own time, he would never know that Ellie was actually his daughter. The rest of the story, of course, is what we, the audience, already know. By then, Ellie had understood everything. She went to an internet cafe and looked up records from 1952, where she discovered that Anna had been adopted that year. Anna grew up there, eventually married, and had a son named Paris. This meant Anna, the girl who vanished, was actually Paris's mother, and therefore Ellie's grandmother, because Anna had truly traveled back to 1952, and it was her own son, Paris, who once saved her. Paris never returned to his original time, so Anna built a life in the past. Realizing her sister had lived a long, full life, Ellie felt both amazed and relieved. She printed out the documents so she could show them to her mother. Meanwhile, in 2022, Paris is arrested for piloting a boat in a restricted area. He tries to escape, but is injured in an accident and loses consciousness. Because Anna is still missing, suspicion naturally falls on him. Yet, in truth, Paris doesn't even belong to this era. At the hospital, a sheriff questions him, but Paris is confused and can't explain. Rain begins to fall, signaling that the dam's water level is rising and the time doors will soon close. Paris realizes he must move quickly, either return to his own time or go further back to try to save his mother. He manages to flee the hospital and hijacks a car in the parking lot, only to discover it belongs to Daniel, and Celeste, Ellie's mother, is inside. Celeste is stunned to see Paris after so many years, though Paris doesn't recognize her. In that brief moment, she senses that Paris never truly abandoned her. Paris evades the police and reaches the bridge over Caddo Lake, but he falls into the water and drowns, never able to travel through time again. In reality, Paris's death was destined. It was his fate. His mother's death also happened for a reason, set in motion by the same chain of events. Her death isn't random. It's the timeline holding itself together. Paris's mother had to die on that bridge so Paris would grieve, search, time travel, and ultimately become the reason Anna survives to give birth to him. The accident is the anchor that keeps the loop closed. This is a grandfather paradox problem. The timeline protects itself, so it can't be rewritten. Back in 2022, Ellie finally returns home and finds that her father has also arrived. She now knows the full truth. Anna was safe in 1952, grew up, married, and eventually gave birth to Paris. Meaning, Anna was both Ellie's sister and Paris's mother. Ellie shows her mother the photographs and documents proving Anna's life story. Celeste is overwhelmed, and all the resentment she once felt toward Ellie dissolves. She embraces her daughter with love and relief. The film closes on this moment of acceptance and reconciliation, tying together the generations linked by the mysterious time doors of Caddo Lake.